All right, guys, we're here with the 92 454 SS Ryan SEMA truck. I heard that. Hey, Ryan, here's your SEMA truck, man.
This is what we're building for. This is kind of what we put together for SEMA this year. And last year we did the Chevelle pretty much. I mean, of course, that was part of the in-game project, but it was also ended up at SEMA. But this is this year's SEMA project. So a lot of people have seen this truck in the background, so you can give them a good.
Oh yeah.
Maybe stand back here so they can kind of see which truck it is. Probably over to the side a little bit. So it's a 92 454 SS, red interior, about a 40,000 mile original mile truck. I was looking for a clean one of these. A friend of mine, SW at Elite in Austin. A lot of people, if anybody knows anything about OBS stuff, they know him. But he found me this truck as a roller. And for me, we like to do stuff to them anyway. And so when I found a truck that was this clean and it was all original, but somebody robbed the motor and transmission out of it, it was exactly what I wanted. So we decided to put, I got one of those ZZ632 crate motors, which y'all have seen that I have been looking for in the last 6 months or so. And so we shoved a ZZ632 crate motor in it. It's got the Holley big block Chevy front drive stuff. Other than that, the motor top to bottom is how it comes from GM, except for the Holley drive here. We matched it with a Rosler 4L80 Pro Torque converter. Yeah, they wired that up. Isn't that cool? So it still works. Rosler 4L80 Pro Torque converter, dynamic drive line, carbon drive shaft, quick performance 9-inch, weld wheels. I think they call these Venturas. 20 by 8s in the front, 20 by 10.5s in the back. Ultimate racing headers. Ultimate headers did the whole exhaust system, so they did the headers all the way back to the tailpipes. And if we can get underneath the truck, we'll show you guys some of that. But the headers turned out awesome. We took them the truck with the motor and tranny in it. They did the headers, the full dual 3-inch exhaust into 2 MagnaFlows with dual 3-inch tailpipes, which you can take it around there and kind of show them where the tailpipes exit. Yeah. When I bought the truck, it was already lowered like you see it. And I don't know, it's got a Beltec kit on it, and I want to say it's a 5, what do you think this is? Is this a 5.7 or a, maybe like a 4.6 or something like that? Somewhere around there. It's got a Be-Cool radiator. They custom made a radiator for me that's got 2 fans in it. It all clears really nice. I'm trying to think, make sure I'm not missing anybody else. Aeromotive for the fuel system. Aeromotive did 2. I sent them the gas tank. They meshed like a billet hat thing with 2 twin 450 liter per hour pumps in it. So it was real quiet. Can't even hear the pumps in this thing. So regulator, all that stuff. Roadrunner sent us the fittings and lines, everything to actually make the fuel system. All right, so we also have a ABS power brake electric master cylinder. So instead of a brake booster, it's vacuum operated or whatever, this is all electric. Got that, it's got that, and then we got Willwood brakes all the way around, so you can show them the drilled, cross-drilled rotors, Willwood calipers, front and rear. We did a little bit smaller on the rear, so if I wanted to put a 15-inch wheel on it, I could. But this truck is, as far as condition wise, we didn't really do much to it. It is exactly like you see it. So, I mean, the bed was already lined and it was in really good shape, so I have to mess with it. The only thing I did was the bed liner went up to the edge here, and we didn't really like that. So, peeled that off, and I had somebody paint up to the corner, so you can't really feel the line. They did a really good job on it, but I painted the inside right here. And then, unfortunately, I'm not really a cowl hood guy on much, and this motor is as low as we can get it, and this thing sets up really tall. So unfortunately, I wanted to leave the stock hood on it. We couldn't really do that. So we got kind of a period correct cowl hood that a lot of people used on these trucks back in the day. Not my favorite hood, and I'm not really a cowl hood fan, but that's what we're gonna use for the time being. I had Glass Tech make me a Sunoco style for this, which I've never seen a Sunoco style hood on an OBS truck before, which is why I wanted to do it. I really like the Sunoco hoods. Problem is, shipping company lost it. what was the delayed us, what, Richard, a week?
Delayed us a week.
Delayed us a week trying to get it. We just finally got the hood yesterday. Today's Thursday, so I cannot actually get it on the truck. So I had to go send somebody to Summit to go buy that hood so we could get a hood on it for SEMA. I don't know what I'm gonna do about an air cleaner yet. I'm trying to get some type of drop base deal that'll kind of go around it, but I haven't really figured that out. I'm not gonna sweat it too much, but we're gonna eventually put some type of air cleaner on it. So we got the wheel brakes inside. It's pretty much bone stock. Again, it's about a 40,000 mile, original mile truck. So it's in really, really good shape. But I did do Dakota digital gauges. It was easier to tie everything into it. Plus their gauges are pretty nice.
Oh,
Yeah. Got a factory old school CD player in it. It was in it when we got it.
Nice.
There's a 10-inch sub in the back seat. Other than that, this thing is about as factory as it gets. Everything works on it. Cold air, power steering. I've driven this thing a little bit, and man, this thing, like, for for y'all that don't know, the ZZ632, this thing makes 1,007 horsepower to the crank. And so today, as you can see, we have it on the dyno, and actually we have already made a pull. We worked on this thing yesterday with pump gas just to see what it made to the tires on pump gas. And we were all pleasantly surprised. It ended up making 842, 844 on 91 pump gas. I did put a can, so these motors are tuned for 93, but I did add it we don't have 93 here in Oklahoma City, so I added a can of VP Octanium. And so we didn't get any detonation or anything, but we used a can of this stuff with the 91, and actually this stuff works really good. So I'll probably leave this as part of my pump gas tune. But the cool part is we took the Terminator. So the GM ZZ632 comes with a Holley Terminator fuel injection system. And so we upgraded to a Terminator X so we could control the 4L80 with it. So we literally pulled the tune out, the GM tune out of the Terminator, loaded it in the Terminator X, and that's what we started with. The cool part about that is that also let us put a flex fuel sensor on it. So today, we did dyno yesterday, and again, it made about 845 to the rear tires. Today, we've got some E85 in it. We're gonna make a pull with E85 adjustments and see how the flex fuel stuff works. We're kind of doing some last minute finishing touches. As you can see, we haven't put the hood on yet, but we're gonna do that here in a minute. And then I got a couple things to put on to try to dress it up a little, and I don't know how it's gonna work, but we called the LG billet guys, and we got a radiator cover, and that is like I think that goes here maybe. I don't know, we'll see. We could try to put some of that stuff on and see if it makes it look a little nicer. So today we'll just kind of want to show you the truck. A lot of people have asked about it. We haven't really done a lot of the work on it, to be honest with you, because we've been gone racing MPK. So my buddies at McKee Auto have been finishing this truck up for us. So it's been there for the last several months. Mikey Jr. wrapped this thing up. Well, I guess it was really, we didn't get it for a couple days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. Yeah, we just got this thing 2 days ago. So now we're picking through some of the last things. You know, he's been busting his ass on it, but we're picking through some of the last things to try to finish it up and get it detailed and get it on the trailer out of here for SEMA. So we don't exactly, how do we tell people where it's going to be at? It's going to SEMA.
And
we don't really know.
It's in the SEMA build section.
In the SEMA build section, which I think is going to be outside.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So, we'll try to figure it out and let you guys know. We'll put it on Instagram or Facebook or something. You'll have to go check it out.
Yeah.
But a lot of this stuff is custom, but it kind of a product showcase too of a lot of the people that we work with. The headers and exhaust, you know, Ultimate did a great job on that stuff. All the fuel system stuff. Anytime I need anything for a fuel system, we call Aeromotive, and they usually have some type of, you know, can solve some type of problem for some type of crazy fuel system that we need or whatever. But we'll fire this thing up, let them listen to it, warm it up. I said that. Warm it up, and let you guys listen to it. And then after it gets warm, we'll make a pull in the dyno and see what it makes on the 85. Naturally aspirated stuff. Everything I can see, it doesn't seem to pick up much. But it's cool that, like, if I don't have the Octanium and I pull into a gas station that's got E85 with the flex fuel sensor, I can run it off of both. So we'll at least be able to see how much power it makes and see if it picks up or not. from the spec sheet of this, it's like a 12.5-to-1 motor. Got a baby, like a 700 lift hydraulic roller camshaft in it. Man, for what these things are, they're very, very impressive. For GM to make this and make it a production engine, they're hard to get. A lot of people can't find them, but I was lucky. I put a APB out on the interwebs and found this one. So, but yeah, just cool truck, something that I've been wanting to build. Ricky burned my other one down, so didn't really have the chance to. Yeah, well, you know, that's gonna get brought up. This is kind of the replacement for the red rum truck that Ricky burned up.
We got another replacement.
So we're not gonna let Ricky drive it. Is the moral of the story there?
We got like 3 replacements now.
Well, I'm still waiting for you to actually replace it. Do some of the work on it. Let's fire it up so we can show everybody what's up. Quiet. Like, it's a lot quieter than I thought, but when I looked at what mufflers they use, it's all 3-inch, but the muffler's like that big. So, but that's a good quality, man. If I want to drive this thing around, like when I build my stuff, I try to build it to where I can drive it to Texas for us. You know, it's a couple-hour trip, or to the city that, you know, if we drive into the heart of Oklahoma City, that's 30 minutes. So I want something that I can drive and be able to hear myself think at the same time. Question. I can tell by the cockpit and grin on your face that you've got something.
It is a real question.
Okay,
Like, after we dyno it, and we put the hood and all that stuff back in it, can we drive it to the gas station and fill it up with fuel? So when we leave SEMA, we don't run out of gas.
That's a good idea.
SEMA story. SEMA story coming last year.
So last year, our buddy Mike Jr., which again does a lot of stuff for me, and he's one of my really good friends. And like, if I need something that I want to turn out about like I would do it, Mikey does it. So that being said, Mikey like had the Chevelle all the way up till the day it left. So he loads the Chevelle up for my buddy Daniel, and Daniel hauls it to Vegas, and we pull it in the show. Show goes great. Car's a big hit. Me and Ricky go drive it out. We make it what, 2 miles?
Yep.
Run out of gas. So we thought this year we're gonna go ahead and try to put some gas in this thing. So like when we pull it out of SEMA and we try to go on the cruise, that we can actually make the cruise. Because I think in the 10 years I've been to SEMA, I've never actually made the cruise. I've always broke down or ran out of gas or something. And it's funny because he almost got us again this year. So the Dakota Digital, you have to program the gauges, and it is easy to program those backwards. And so the fuel gauge reads opposite. So when it's full, it's empty. When it's empty, it's full. So we're on the dyno going, man, we got a full tank, blah, blah, blah. Nah, we had an empty tank yesterday when we were dynoing. So we already thought about if we wouldn't have caught that here, that would have probably got us at SEMA. So we're going to be prepared. We're putting gas in it this year, huh?
Yep.
And we're driving it out of there.
It's a real question.
That's Ricky, a good question.
Yeah, it was. That actually was a good question.
Good job, Ricky.
Already, are you? Bounce this thing off the red limiter?
I would let this see if it's got temperature in it. Shit.
Yeah, I'll run it. I'll get it up and run on the dyno for a second. Yeah. Keep going, right?
You're all about fucking locking this bitch up. Let's see if we can lock it up and not get a number.
Lock it up?
Yeah. Well, Matt runs 12 minutes on the screen.
12 minutes on that screen.
Yes. What if it does something cool? What if it makes it 100 horsepower just on the 85? Which it's not going to, but.
So when they say these are X amount of horsepower motor from the factory, does that mean like the
Flywheel. Everything is always rated to the flywheel. That's why when somebody says rear wheel horsepower, that's the number that you really care about. Because you got a parasitic drivetrain loss between the flywheel, through the tranny, through the drive shaft, through the rear end, through the tires. And so it takes a percentage. The way to figure out what the percentage is you take whatever it makes on the engine dyno, which for these, it's 1,007, which from what I can tell is pretty accurate. And then we're gonna take whatever it's made, so far it's 845, and you can do the math to figure out what the percentage loss is, which is probably 20%, you could say. I mean, it's pretty damn close. It's 1,000, 825, probably closer to about 17% is what it is. So we'll see if it picks up any on the 85. Again, naturally aspirated, I don't think it will, but.
So what'd that pick up?
On the 85, nothing.
Oh,
Pretty much nothing.
So we'll look through the tune and see, man, like this, even the graph looks the same. It's got this little bitty, it's got this little hump in it. Same thing it had yesterday on pump gas. But I wonder, Rick, pull up the best run we had with pump gas, and let's just look at the torque numbers. I'm just out of curiosity to see if the torque number changed any.
Right.
Somehow it has no torque number on it.
Says they're 994.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but there's some like that, 1,057, 1,035. Blah. So anyway, it's about the same. Basically, in a nutshell, what we figured out is we'll look through the tune, but with the flex fuel sensor, it does pretty much most of it for you. But it makes the same on E85 as it does on pump gas, which is good. I mean, I don't know. It's something. It's good to know. I've always been, you know, kind of for everything I have seen is that E85 works really well on boosted applications and does make a difference on boosted applications because you can get really aggressive with timing, but doesn't change much on naturally aspirated. And that's pretty much what this is telling me here today too. So, but what's cool is we can run on anything. 91, 93, E85, basically whatever we want. But this will be pretty fun. So if you do the calculation on that, that's, you know, around 16, 17% drivetrain loss, which is pretty good to a 480 in my opinion. Me and Rick sit on YouTube and we're trying to figure out what these things make to the rear tires in different cars. We found a Chevelle 5-speed that made
Like
700,
600.
yeah, 680, 700, and we were kind of like, oh man, I hope this is better. But
And then you
turned
found
out,
some to the crank that was like 1,003, 1,005,
Yeah.
1105.
yeah, it's all over the board. I'm pretty sure that the YouTube video that I saw where this motor made 1103 or whatever
That's the motor,
to
yeah.
the crank, they should recalibrate their dyno because I do not think that thing really makes 1103. So because every other one that we watched was 1,000. So this thing like is advertised at 1,007, but it's like 1,001 to 1,010 across the board. But these are badass motors. Like it really gives me an appreciation of GM's ZZ632 crate motor. I remember the first one of these I saw was at SEMA a couple years ago in the Hoonigan bright red Camaro IROC car. And I thought, man, that'd be a cool motor. It turns out they are. So this would be a fun truck. This is just something that I wanted to put together. You guys know there's a few vehicles that I got on my bucket list, and a lot of the mid-90s, bottom to the mid-90s stuff I like. This is a truck that I never had. I always had Lightnings and stuff like that, but I never had one of these. So this was my opportunity to build one the way I wanted when I found a roller, and here it is. So if you guys get bored, we'll try to, we might try to update you on social media and tell you where exactly this is going to be at SEMA, maybe the first day we get there or whatever. But in the meantime, we're going to get the hood on it, try to button it up, get it loaded in the trailer.
Put a nitrous plate on it.
Ricky really wants to put nitrous on this. My complaint with that, I would kind of like to too, I'm not going to lie. But my complaint with it is two things. Number one, the truck's real clean. I don't know where I'd mount the bottle at. I really hate to put holes in the bed.
It's got a good crank and good rods and good shit in it.
I'm not worried about the motor. I mean, because even a 200 shot would put this thing over 1,000,
I
and
mean, could do the old nitrous in a bag.
you could do a little trick. We could do something like that. Have to take my sub out, and I could put it behind that seat over there. But I'm comparing this to the truck you burnt up. So that thing had a 480 and a 9-inch. So drivetrain wise, it was identical.
Yep.
And when that thing went 940s the first time, it made about 1,050. So to get this thing to probably, this thing is lighter for sure. That truck's 5,000 pounds. These are like 4,400. So this thing probably run pretty good. I think I need to try to dig me up some welds for the
15s?
back, some 15s to the back of it, some cow tracks. And we might take her to the racetrack to see what it does. You're probably not going to be able to drive it there, I'm just saying.
We
Can I
might-
drive it to the track?
You cannot drive to the track unless you take Matt and like you guys have like 7 fire extinguishers with
And
you.
I'm driving the fire truck behind you?
Yeah, and then he drives like a fire truck behind you. That's the only way that that's going to happen. Because there are some things that are close to the headers. I was looking at the heater lines.
This hose.
That hose right there is pretty close
I
to the
touched
header.
it yesterday and it didn't feel like
So
it
you're
was super
saying,
hot, but
like, you're not gonna put airbags in the back of this, and we're gonna like put motors and stuff in the back of this?
I don't
Hot
think this
shot
is
them
going to be,
to-
nah, I don't think this is going to be our shop. We got enough shop trucks that I don't think this needs to be a shop truck. And I know that's what you would love, but we ain't doing that. You got, there's a gray truck out there that you basically tore up that is the shop truck. You ever driven that thing lately?
no.
That's things, he's got that thing where it drives like a bucket of bolts.
Well, it's been like that since it got lowered.
I know, that's because
Because
it goes
it
so
goes
yeah.
Because
Yeah,
sitting
the
on,
people,
sitting
a lot
on
of
the
people don't know
butt
about Ricky is Ricky's work and the type of work that he can do. I don't really want people to look at his stuff because his stuff he doesn't care about. But my stuff he does a good job on. But his stuff he'll just lower it however. I mean, if one of the trucks he took the springs out of it, that got it low enough and he drove it around that way, right?
No. I mean, it'd probably be low enough if I took the springs out.
I think it probably would be.
I don't think they make one low enough.
I think Ricky needs everything on airbags. Doesn't care how they run. And then if you're riding that thing,
Yeah.
it like breaks your back when you're
Yeah, I
riding
know.
it. So
It definitely
no travel.
needs C-Nots.
that's what's cool about this. This truck rides good. Like it's tight. It drives like a 40,000 mile truck still. It's just got a lot more power.
Yeah. So stock, what were these?
454 SS's, and I haven't dynoed a stock one, but I know from people that I know have had one, and we could look it up.
That'd be great.
But I'm going to tell you it's about 180.
I was gonna
That's
say
what
they make 200.
The
So
Lightnings weren't. The Lightnings,
Yeah.
those and the Lightnings both ran good. Neither one of those trucks made a lot of horsepower. They made
Right.
some decent torque, but this had a really anemic 454 in it that was a cast head. There's going to be a bunch of guys on here that know everything about them, and that's cool. But for me, you could take the motors that came in these, or you could put a set of aluminum heads and a better intake and a camshaft, and they woke up pretty good. They
And
make 500 or
carburetor.
600, yeah, and a carburetor. They'd make 500 or 600.
That was the easy thing to do back then.
That was the easy thing to do back then. And a lot of these trucks right now, so these trucks are really hard to find clean, but most of the time that you find them, they're just like the Lightnings.
Yeah.
They've been draped, you know? People go in there and pull all the fuel injection off of them and do like there's a bunch of Rickies out there. Put carburetors on them because they think that's the only way they can make them run. And they're right, they run good like that, but then you just got a whole carbureted big block Chevy, you know? But dude, it's...
It looks like, if I'm looking at the right thing, it was rated at 230 horsepower.
I believe that. So what is that? What do you think that is to the tires? Here'd be interesting is to Google.
385 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I'm pretty sure that the
Google
Lightning made more than the
stock 454 SS rear wheel dyno.
Made even more than this truck did.
I bet it was
Stop.
terrible.
And it had a way smaller motor.
The 351 Windsor.
Yeah.
Which was 100 cubic inches less.
Yeah.
Small block versus big block.
Right.
It's funny because I remember when I had my first Lightning, all the 454 SS guys, because remember that 95 I got was about 96 or 97.
one.
Yeah. And some buddies I had that had 454 SSs, they all thought how awesome these trucks were, and they were big blocks, big motors. That Lightning would run off and hide from these things.
That was when I was 16. I got to choose what I wanted or whatever for a vehicle. And there was a black SS 454 and a red Lightning sitting at the same place pretty much. I could choose. Either I could get the SS 44 or the Lightning or whatever. Nowadays, I probably would have chosen it. Back
But you
then,
chose the Lightning.
I was like, well, which one's faster?
Yeah.
If I can stuck them side by side.
I still love those Lightnings.
Lightnings drove off and left this thing. I was like, well, I'm taking the Lightning.
Yeah. My next project is going to be that right there.
That Lightning.
Yeah. That thing's got 100. But how many miles that thing got on that? 200? 200,000 miles. Been sitting back here. It's probably got rats in it. It's probably got rats. That,
Real bit.
yeah. It's not real nice, but it's a real good start. You can't, they're $30,000 now.
That's wild.
Well, I think we can make this thing to where it's just as nice as that truck.
I'm sure it will.
That's my
You
plan.
do it.
That's a pretty cool ride. So yeah, as you can see, we like all the 90 stuff. I got a whole shop full of 90 stuff.
Ryan's a 90s baby.
I'm kind of a 90 baby. I wish I was a 90 baby, a lot younger.
Me too. God dang.
Yeah, so the next thing is we're gonna put the hood on it. I might do something up here. I've got some. Yeah, even my wife. She's born in 92. Yeah. So this thing's about done though. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
Like I always, we'll go through the MPK weekend and we'll race, and then Monday I'll call Junior and be like, all right, how's everything going? Send me some pictures. But it's turned out even better than I thought.
Think you're
I'm
gonna leave
not-
those valve covers on?
I know, that's what I was getting ready to tell them. Chevrolet classic color orange, right? That's their motors. They do everything orange. And it's cool, it looks good. I'm not an orange guy, but I feel like it clashes with the red truck. So I don't know, I might do something like pull these off and color match this valve cover to the truck. Like do it the exact same way, but this will just be red. And then you won't see much of that engine block if I do that way, but I don't know, we'll see. I kind of like, part of me hates to mess with it, right? This is how it comes, this is exactly how it comes from the factory, and I think that's kind of cool as far as the crate motor goes.
And I mean, this is the Chevy orange. That's their color.
Chevy orange, I don't know I can't remember what the 450, I don't know if the 454 Sis had any orange in them at all.
I
Like
think
if
the
the blocks
blocks
were
and
orange?
everything were orange, but the valve covers and everything I don't think were. They were black, I believe.
They were black, but they were minted like this.
Yeah, but I think maybe you could see something slight orange or something in the front.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% on that, but I thought.
But this truck has cold AC, alternator, power steering. I mean, it's got everything that they come with from the factory. Still got cruise. There's a couple things that I'll go through, and like it doesn't have a gear selector on the Dakota Digital, but we can make it have one, so we're going to do that. Make it to where you can see the blinkers when you turn them on, the Dakota Digital gauges. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked about it. Next we'll enjoy it, drive it. See if Ricky can talk me into putting a plate on it.
That'll probably take much.
It probably won't take much.
I still think we should.
But
do
I don't think we can get it under the hood.
We should make a dyno pull. And I just
About as much as we know those heads are getting painted red.
no.
Who knows?
Oh, the valve cover.
Valve covers.
There's a good
Yeah.
possibility. But I don't know. I'm really leaning towards leaving it. Like I said, it does clash a little bit, but it is still classic Chevrolet orange.
Yeah. Looks good.
Well, I feel like the SS is kind of hazel orange back here on the truck.
I feel like a couple things.
Look, well, that's red. What's that? Is that red?
I'm gonna say that's also red. It's just a
different
different
color
shade.
red.
Yeah.
Are you gonna take the 4v4 SS and put?
No, I'm not. Matt says I'm not gonna do that. No. Like I don't mind. Like I don't care if I take something that's really original and tear the guts out of it and put a different motor and training in it. But there's something about the outside of it I want it to look the same.
Yeah.
Like if it didn't have a cowl hood on it, you wouldn't even know this truck made 850 horsepower.
Probably eventually won't have a cowl hood on it though.
If you never know. I thought about what we talked about last night about taking the intake off of this and doing like some type of fuel injected billet intake or something on it with a forward facing throttle body, and then do a cold air. But all the coils are underneath here.
I just wondered what that would do for power wise, what it would do.
One way to find out.
Yeah.
Just test it.
I feel like this probably works pretty good with these tall ass runners and shit.
I would think it would. Wilson Manifold sent
Why
me,
that spacer thing picks up so
I'm
much
sure.
because it makes the engine.
and we'll probably miss that too because they want us to do a video on that. But Wilson sent me a 2-inch phenolic spacer for this that I don't want to misquote what he said, but it was a lot of horsepower, 40 or 50 horsepower. So he wants me to dyno test
Just
it.
by putting the spacer on it.
And again, it's just something else that makes it where we can't fit underneath the hood. But
Right.
it'd be cool to know if it picked up 30. For me,
Yeah.
you get something like this out of the box, and you can do a couple things here and there, and make almost 900 in tires. Like, that's badass. We got blower stuff that won't do that. You know, these trucks are really popular to LT swap.
Yeah.
You know, and LT stuff won't make this half of it. I mean, you can make it make this, but most of it won't.
Fox probably gonna make it.
No, Ricky got a big block Chevy and a Fox body that makes half that. So, like I tell a lot of people here, you're a Fox body guy, but you're confused. So you got a big block Chevy and a Fox body, right, Rick?
Something like that.
Yeah,
We're trying some
really high horsepower deal.
We're trying some new things.
I'm gonna let the cat out the back. We'll do another YouTube video on this. But Ricky blew up his 351 Windsor that was actually stroked to a 427. We built it back in the B&R days. How many? 15 years ago.
Probably.
That motor is badass.
Never changed.
Sometimes you luck into a combination, and that's what we did with this motor, and it made 5 something, right?
530 on the motor.
530. So a 427 inch small block Windsor made 530 to the tires. That's really, really impressive. The thing was fast. Would it go 990s in the motor?
Went 990s.
Yeah. We broke it, threw the rods out of the stoplight. So
Literally.
we got the motor when I bought the champagne car.
I was sitting at the red light and threw the rods at it.
Yeah, that's what he called me to tell me. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So we got the champagne car, the 69, before, you know, you guys watched where we raced it on the show and had a good time with it. Well, it had a
Cast 598.
cast 598. Yeah, cast block, it was a dark cast block 598, some Patriot heads, Chinese Patriot heads,
500-inch hydraulic roller.
500-inch hydraulic rolls, really anemic, okay? But it was you could beat on it. It was a cool motor, but it didn't make very much horsepower. We had it on dyno and it made what?
You know, we go back and find it.
It was hard. It made 500.
400.
Barely made
490 or something.
So moral of the story is Ricky got a big block Chevy that's 598 cubic inches and did not make as much horsepower as his 427 Windsor. So he's really downgrading on that deal. But we'll see how much power we can make that.
Whatever it makes on the motor, I'm gonna spray it with.
Yeah. Matt, go get a 3/8 gun and a 10 socket.
Oh, I did. Oh,
But
absolutely.
like Ryan, back in the day, we used to go to SEMA all the time. And like every year, we always had cool names. Like
Everybody would
different
have-
name tags. And Ryan would
everybody
give us some cool names. So we'd have to go around with their name tags.
I do remember that. I remember I got you and your wife one year.
Yeah.
His last name was her last name, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's right. Hey, Ricky, his wife's last name. That's what it was.
I know Hannah keeps getting mad at me because I call her Hannah Bean and I put her Hannah Bean on everything.
Yeah.
So I just keep doing it.
Yeah, oh,
So,
yeah, that's why you would do that.
That's why I keep
That's why
doing
you would
it.
do that, of course.
He called me back last night
Yeah.
or whatever, and he was like, "Hey, so what'd you call me for?" I was like, "Well, I mean, if you want me to be honest, or whatever, we were just sitting around the shop, and we knew y'all were out on a special dinner, so we just wanted to see if you had your balls or not." And see if
Yeah.
you'd answer
And
the
we
phone.
realized you didn't.
So whenever we realized that you did not, and he goes, "All right, well, tell everybody tomorrow that she at least showed them to me while we were at dinner. She pulled them out of her purse. Was like,
Yeah.
here you go.
Yeah,
You can at least see them."
So Angie sent me the gold balls,
yeah.
and then I grabbed her phone and I just fucking posted it from her phone. And she's like, "You need to post this." I know, fuck no, you found it, you posted it.
That's funny. Matt, give me a straight edge and a marker.
Who's gonna white garment?
Gentry. Matt, John Gentry.
Matt Trenchy.
Matt Gentry. I went to school with a guy named Matt Gentry. That's where, believe it or not, that's where I came up with that.
I was like, "It ain't Matt." You're like, "Yeah, it is."
But then I realized I'm sure that's what it is.
Well, I mean, these are in the factory mounts.
Yeah, and that's the deal, is it won't fit over the factory mount, so I'm not sure about this.
I'm not sure about that either. The thing was, is when you bought it, it said 454 SS or non-454 SS? Well, I said non. But what makes me wonder is you said you thought maybe it's been wrecked. So I wonder if this is like not a 454 SS.
Well,
like,
I don't think that it got into the course report
okay.
because it was, like I said, I mean, it's got brand new headlights, brand new, all this shit's brand new, and the bumper's been repainted.
Yeah. That's helpful, Rick.
Hey, you want me to move that for you?
Thank you.
No problem. Let me know if you want me to move it
Appreciate
again.
that, man. If you could
Move it again for you?
Yeah, that's
Just let me know.
excellent.
I like the billet mounts.
Yeah, no, they're cool.
Definitely
to
cleaner
do.
looking over the.
It's just fucking
You got
cool,
real
right?
close.
What? I'm gonna do a little different. I'm going to keep it fucking straight.
Returning to...
Woo.
Yeah, don't step.
Nope.
Up, down, what you need from me?
Down.
There is a ratchet.
Set it on the battery.
Right there. Go ahead and get that other one in. Maybe start putting down slow, Matt. Are we close over there?
Yeah, on the front.
Oh, we got a gap over here.
The gap in the back ain't bad.
Yeah. Unless when we close it, it pushes it over. I don't know. Will it shut?
Oh, shut it.
So it's close over here in the corner.
Let's come back.
So we could probably drop that side
I
back
mean-
and touch.
All right. So, next stop, SEMA.
Driving at the SEMA. 1,250 miles. Not really. I'm just going to still take it on its maiden voyage.